All right, start. All right, hello, you guys. I hope everyone had a great weekend. Everybody can hear me, right? So, okay. So, oh, sorry, my phone's going off too. Anyways, okay. So I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about time blocking, because Lindsay Hoffer, you know her. She's one of the amazing leaders on our bigger team, Team Anchored. And she had touched a little bit about it at our executive retreat last month in Arizona. And I wanted to kind of expand on it a little bit more because I felt it was kind of important, at least for me too, because in the past I've had people who said that they want to build a business and they're ready to go and do it and start it, and then they quit because they just said that they didn't have enough time. So just giving some pointers of like maybe how to fit it into their busy lives. But I have to say that we do have time. I just believe it's just how we manage our time throughout the day. But I mean, I have a hard time with it too. So I'm trying to get these time blocks in, and I hope everybody else can do it as well. So what's time blocking? So Wikipedia says, time blocking is a type of scheduling that can help you manage your time better. Instead of working by the clock, you can focus on finishing big and small tasks one at a time. This will help you limit distractions, get things done faster, and leave you less overwhelmed by lengthy to-do lists. So I have to admit that I haven't been always good at time blocking, like I said. So I do things when there's open times throughout my day, and it's just not as efficient as the day goes on, so I'm not getting a lot done. So with time blocking, the highest priority and big tasks should be done in the beginning of the day, because as the day goes on, you get kind of more tired, right? So then you don't want to take on those tasks. So you want to do those shorter tasks at the end of the day. Lindsay, when she was talking, she recommended finding 3 to 6 hours in your day away from your kids. I also say, like, if you don't have kids, away from anything, like your spouse, your work, your housework, right? So not everyone has 3 hours available, but just remember, but the less hours you put into the business, the less you'll make, right? And so don't expect to make like a 6-figure income if you're just going to put like an hour a day into your business, right? So got to make sure you know that. And that said, we still have to meet people where they are. And if they're just interested in just maybe getting their products paid for, then let's just help them do that, If they only have 1 hour a day to give, then let's just work within that 1 hour and just be more efficient in that time. Whatever amount you have, block those hours into your daily schedule. So like 80% of your time should be bringing in new people, and then 20% of the time, you should manage your current team. And Lindsay, what's that?
Crackles in this thing.
Oh, I thought I heard someone say something. Let's see. And be sure to block off your mentioned that family time is a non-negotiable time for her, so she doesn't like to do ISA work when her children are around. So I know there's certain circumstances, I'm sure, like when there's Zoom calls or conferences and stuff like that, she has to work around those important things. But for the most part, she doesn't, and she does most of it after her kids go to bed, after 7, that time. That was before, when she was working full-time as an optometrist. She didn't have much time, so she needed to fit the business and ISA business into her schedule. So she woke up maybe 30 minutes earlier. She did 30 minutes of like 3-way calls and follow-ups at lunchtime, and she worked for 30 minutes after the kids went to bed. That's when she would do schedule calls and do her to-do lists. So she only had that limited time to do until she was able to work it more full time. So think about your negotiables and non-negotiables and work around that, around your schedule. Let's see. She also recommends outsourcing even one thing to eliminate chaos in your life. So for me, I hired a house cleaner. That was really important for me because I realized how much time it took in my day. I felt like I was cleaning after my kids all the time. Like one thing I would clean up and the next thing would get messed up. The next thing was the bathroom was dirty and then the bedroom's dirty. So it really allowed me to have more time to to do more things. And so putting that time block to do more of the business into that time that I normally would be cleaning the house, that would be like, a great way to do it. So YMCA was another thing that some people do are involved in, and they have free childcare while you use their facility. So I would take advantage of finding like services like that, where they offer free childcare. And even if you have to pay for a little bit, a few hours a day or a week, just to get some stuff done and be productive, obviously, during those times, then it's worth it. Let's see. Okay, and so during those time blocks, so I have suggestions on like income producing activities. If you have large time blocks, I prefer focusing on human face-to-face, meeting humans face-to-face versus social media. I still encourage you all to keep posting, but I feel like that heart-to-heart connection and face-to-face and messaging people to bond with them seems like it's more important. You get that connection with them and be able to talk to them more about Isagenix. And be a person of value and connect to them be a person of value and just connect people to other people too. And that will help you with your business. You can also incorporate the business in your daily schedule that you already have. For example, I try to get my best to get to work at least half an hour earlier to work, but I sit in the car, and then that's when I would do maybe do some posts that I want to post later on, or to make a to-do list. I don't suggest going into work because I don't do that, because if I go, all my coworkers start talking to me and start asking me about other things, about work-related things. So I want it to be 30 minutes to myself. So I actually just stay in my car for that time and do some work before that. You can go to maybe school events or really any event early, just to maybe work conferences or any event that you have to go to. I suggest going there early to get to know more people and to socialize with them. So you can do that during your time. Go to birthday parties with your child other than just dropping them off. Take up snack duty for your child's sports team. One thing was, I thought, okay, doing room mom, but Lawrence, I mentioned it to Sonia, but Lawrence signed me up to be a room mom for my second grader last year during back to school night. I wasn't there because I think I was at an Isagenix event. And he signed me up, and I was like, okay, well, that's a lot of work, but you know what, maybe I'll get to network and meet people, other parents. But instead, it was a lot of behind the scenes work, working with the teachers, getting stuff for the kids and stuff, and we're talking with the kids. And so I didn't really get to meet a lot of parents other than at the few parties we had. I did send out a lot of emails to the parents. So next time if I was to do it, instead of they know my name, which is great, but they don't really know what kind of business I have. So maybe having that signature on the bottom saying Isagenix or something on there. So if at any time they were, yes, honey, sorry.
Do my homework?
Not yet. I'll be there. Thank you. Sorry. So just having that signature on the bottom, maybe next time, saying like my name and Isagenix and what I do, just a little there. So if anytime they think of me, if they were looking for a solution and they think, oh, Isagenix, I think I've heard that before, and maybe they'll, for me. But otherwise, I think doing more volunteering work with working with other parents is a little more helpful. Listen to podcasts while driving to and from work. I also like to do it when I'm doing laundry, folding laundry. I feel like it's being really productive. Another tip to keep in mind is to let go of some activities. Like often we try to book ourselves so much with a lot of activities to try to, get out there and network, and we say yes to everything and we get burnt out, and not only burnt out, but we need to pick and choose and be more selective at what we want to do in those limited, because we just have those limited time blocks, right? So maybe you want to do other things that are going to be more useful for you. Okay. So think about what is and what isn't working for you. Think about the audience that you want to get attention from, and think about who you want to attract in your business to when you're picking those activities. I already believe that we all have time to do this business, but some of us don't have a lot of time, but we do have time. Something I came up with too, like I was thinking like, okay, if a doctor, and this is silly, but if a doctor told you that he had high blood pressure and there was no medication to cure it, right? And he said like, oh, you're going to die within like the next 6 months if you don't exercise once a day for the next 6 months for an hour, right? Would you do it? Like, would you exercise? For me, like I would do it. I know I would, but I don't exercise. You know me, I don't exercise, but I would do it. Even if I had to get up at 2 a.m. or something to exercise, I'll do it. Knowing that, I won't die and I'll live. So, but it just all comes down to how important is your why and how badly do you want to reach your goals. And so I feel like everyone has the time. It's just trying to find, everyone has the time. It's just, we just got to set it and take those time blocks. I don't have much to say, but if you have any other questions or other tips and suggestions on what we can do in those time blocks, fire away. Hello? Anyone?
Hi, Amy.
Okay, is that really
everyone? So when I was scrolling through that huge IsoLife document, which is ginormous to look at it online, I saw that they have, and in the old ones, they'll have like an hour by hour breakdown. So, and I'm going to reintegrate that into the days that I'm in, the times that I know that I can block out for isogenics.
Uh-huh.
And so, because I know like if I write it down and I can visualize like at what time and commit to a certain time of doing something, then it's easier for me to do that as opposed to just, trying to keep it into the back of my mind. So maybe for people who are wanting to reorganize their day, or for our new people, which Shelly is joining us today. Yay! So that could really help you, Shelly, because I know, you're full-time, we have a full-time work schedule, and Justin's there too, or hubby, and you have your child and everything, so that could help you like really dedicate a certain hour of this is what I'm going to do, and break down the income producing activities, which is connecting with new people, following up with people, and expanding your warm market so that you can share this gift with them.
Yeah.
That's my 2 cents.
That's great. Is that for the ISIS Success Life Plan you were talking about? Okay. I have to review more of that again. I don't know how much has changed, but I have looked at the past ones, like NYKO. I know every year I think it kind of changes a little bit, but that's great. Thank you.
Amy, I saw a podcast, and I don't remember who did it. It was on Team Anchored at some point, where they did the time blocking, and they had like their weekly calendar, and each day they used like different highlighters. And I'm sure some of you others have seen this, where she would use like her highlighters, and she would start with her non-negotiables every day and be like, okay, my 1 hour of the gym at 8 a.m., that's pink. And so she would highlight that and write it in. And then at noon, maybe it was had to pick her daughter up from preschool or kindergarten or whatever. And then at like 4 to 5 was, making dinner. 5 to 6 was dinner time. 7 to 8 was bedtime. And then she would go in after she put in all those non-negotiables for the day and fill in her times when she could do income producing activities, follow-up activities, and then would have time for those other extra events that we sometimes have to choose between doing that or doing something with our business with isogenics or something. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was a really good way to do it. Mm-hmm. I haven't implemented it yet, but it's on my, like habits that I want to create, because it made a lot of sense for me. So that helps me you guys out.
Yeah. And I know like Anne gives me like these calendars, these yearly calendars. And I started off and I start writing through it and getting through it and start writing all my activities that I'm going to do during that day and week and whatnot. And I kind of lose it, and all my stuff is on my phone now, but still it's just like what is negotiable and what's non-negotiable, highlighting it would be helpful, where I can't do that on my phone.
Amy, I don't know if you have like two things.
Oh yeah, let me shut this off.
Because you're
Sorry.
totally echoing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. I know I don't know how to fix this one, so I'm going to shut this one off.
Okay.
Well, actually, I'll shut this one off.
Well, and I think the most important thing is, because I think it can be really overwhelming for a new person to kind of think about, oh my gosh, like I'm trying to build this business and this takes a lot of time and I don't really think that I can do this. And I know that when I first learned about Isogenics, especially when I was still trying to figure everything out, I definitely was like, there's no way I have any time for this because I already felt so busy. But I think the most important thing is just committing to a certain amount of time. And even if it's 30 minutes a day, it doesn't have to be hours and hours. And I love Lindsay. Lindsay, for example, I know Shelly, you probably don't know who Lindsay Hofber is that Amy was talking about. So Lindsay is an optometrist by trade, and her husband is an anesthesiologist. And she started building Isogenics 5 years ago after she saw her best friend Laura Stevens building. And her initial why was to pay off the $300,000 of student loans that they had acquired from medical school. But she had no other intention to like leave her job or her husband or her husband's career. Like it was totally just to pay off those student loans. But you can imagine, as both being doctors and having two girls, they were very busy. So that's when she came up with this plan of 30 minutes before work, 30 minutes at lunch, and then 30 minutes at dinner. And when you think about it, or after dinner, when the kids went to bed. But I feel like when you think about it that way, like 90 minutes a day, that is so doable. And she was just very consistent about it. She woke up 30 minutes earlier so that she would have 30 minutes before work to do what she needed to do. And then the rest of the day that way. And she went on to make six figures in her first year. They paid off their student loans, and now she's an Isogenics millionaire. So clearly it all worked out great for her, but that took consistency, right? But it started with as little as 90 minutes a day, which I feel like is so doable. I think it's also just figuring out how to spend those 90 minutes. Because I think a lot of people are like, well, what do you do in those 90 minutes? Especially for somebody who's starting out. And I know Christy can help you with that. I'm happy to jump on a phone call with you and guide you in some of the things that you can do in the beginning. But yeah, just being really consistent. And then for those of us who are helping somebody new get started, I think we have to be just really sensitive and conscientious about how much we are telling people and how much we are, how much information we're putting on their plate, because it can be very overwhelming. And I know that at some point in all of our Isogenics careers, we've all been guilty of this. I absolutely have, because I was so excited about Isogenics that I was like verbal vomiting all over the place with everybody. But I think just no matter how long you've been in Isogenics, like really take a step back and think like, okay, this is a brand new person that's getting started. First of all, like ask the right questions to know, are they only here for the nutrition? Are they open to referral bonuses? Are they open to more than just referral bonuses and maybe an actual business opportunity? Meet them where they're at. Find out what their availability time-wise is, and then be really conscientious about the information that you're giving them. You know, so often on Team Arrow support, I'll see like the same person like tagged on like 100 things on Team Arrow support. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this poor new person is going to be like, what on earth? Like, I just wanted to lose some weight. And now I have all this, like all these posts to keep track of. So like when you first get somebody started on Team Arrow, maybe just pick 2 posts, maybe 3 at the most, you know, and then just drip on them. I loved how Lindsay Winia talked about that last week on the Trudy Maples call, was how, you know, like she has, for example, some new business builders building, and they all committed to 1 hour a day. And she's so respectful of their time. She's so conscientious of the information and the activities that she's giving them, making sure that she's respecting their 1 hour a day. And for example, she doesn't even have them join Trudy Maples calls on Tuesday because that's 2 hours. And so she didn't even include them in that. And she also felt like that was too much information and too advanced for where they're at. How often, and I'm guilty, how often are we just like, jump on this call, listen to this podcast. Oh my gosh, Trudy Maples is doing this amazing call. You need to jump on it. Like for a new person, they're like, I have no idea who Trudy Maples is, or like why this is so important, you know? And it can be really overwhelming. So I think today, as we're talking about time and time blocks, just for all of us to kind of just take some time to think about maybe what we're doing to some of our new people, you know, and maybe some of us have that figured out, and that's awesome. But I know that I have been guilty of it in the past. It's something that I've worked on. Just again, like, where is your new person at? How much information are they ready for? And meet them where they're at. Now, if this person has told you, oh yeah, Laura Stevens became an Isogenics millionaire in 2 years, I'm going to do the same. Give them all the information, right? They told you they have big dreams, they have big goals. Like, give them all the information, you know. But if they're telling you, oh, I don't know, maybe I'll tell a couple friends, I like that I can get some referral bonuses, then, you know, slow them into it. Let them get paid with a few bonuses. Let them see what that's like, and then take them to the next bonus and whatnot. So I hope that makes sense. Does anybody have any other questions? Anything else to add? We good? No? Okay. All right. Well, I guess we'll wrap it up. That was quick and easy, and we want to respect everybody's time. Well, thank you so much, Amy. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. Hope it was helpful.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, awesome, you guys. So I'm going to write right now some of the events that are coming up in the next 2 months, because I know some of you keep asking me, and I keep saying I'm going to do it, and I don't do it. So I'm going to write it down just so that you know some of the events that are coming up in the next 2 months. All right, guys. Good night. Happy Monday.